my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in Yahweh's sight. He is our strength and our Redeemer, and it is in His name, which is His authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, protect today's message. Aman. Uh, Shabbat Shalom, Mashapachi, Salachia, Tida, Tazada Aik, at Yahada Sha'an, Shabbat Shalom, Bar at Ban, Bar at Bat at Zion, at Night Kovain, headed to Servants of Christ, Mashalom. Hello, everybody. I am Pastor Kofi, Pastor of Servants of Christ, where we are always changing lives once again. All right. Thank you for being on with us again. All right. Thank you for being on with us. We give our honor and praise to the Most High. We give our praise and honor to Him for my wife, the Honorable Alma, who lives a life that's able to be honored. As always, you can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, or website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. Not A-N-D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. Much love and respect and adulation towards you all and for you all as we get ready to go into tonight. Thank you all for being on. As a reminder, tomorrow we'll be on live 8 a.m. Eastern New York time, 10 a.m. Eastern New York time, where the podcast Minister Stephen's going to be giving us a word. 11 a.m. Eastern New York time, the children will be on for the Zoom session and for their Shabbat school. At 7 p.m. London time, we'll be meeting with those who are in England, and then at 7 p.m. New York time, we'll be meeting with the brothers as we go over and begin to go through the 5 love languages. Praise Yah. So hopefully everybody's able to see and hear us okay. Shabbat Shalom to all. We're going to jump right in. As I said, on Fridays, at least for now, the timing is a little off from what we normally do. We meet on Fridays now at 8:30 versus 8, at least for now, until I'm able to figure out what's going on, or if we do something a little different. But thank you to everybody for being on. Appreciate, love you all. How you doing? Shabbat Shalom once again, everybody. How you doing, Sister Joy? How you doing, Sister Knight? How you doing, Bruta Charlie? Mellow, Sister Marion, Rodney, Lamar, Elder Select Tamara. Everybody, come on in. If I miss you, charge it to my head, not to my heart. Sister Monica, we see you. Darius, Minister Morel, thanks for the love. I see you, Sister Deborah. Alrighty, so hopefully all is well. If I missed you, please forgive me. How you doing, MIT LaCrystal? So today we'll just jump right into it. We'll go ahead and say our Bible pledge and jump right into the message for tonight. You can just repeat after me. This is my Bible. This is my sword, and this will I trust. For Yahshua is Lord. No sword of God shall ever be heard. For this is my Bible, and this is Yah's word. Acham Yehavach. Aman, which is Yahweh's Shem, His name is authority. Amen. How you doing, Sister Mignon? How you doing, Brother Jermaine, Sister Beck? Everybody, come on in, beloved. Love you all. All right. So tonight, and remember Sunday also too is coming up, March the 2nd. March the 2nd is going to be when we start to remove the leaven from our home. We're getting closer and closer to March 29th, which is the beginning of our new year, which then means that we'll be very close to Passover, which is going to be April the 11th. So we're excited about that. How you doing? Is it a Baby Peach? I guess it is. Thank you for being on. So tonight, I wanted to talk about the blackout. And the theme that we have for today, now that there is a blackout, where is the black in? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. Question, theme for the night, if you will. How you doing, Tanisha? Now that there is a blackout, right, where is the black in? And if you're not aware of what I'm talking about, usually the last day of February is when so-called African Americans, black persons, especially in the United States of America, joined by some others as well, decide to go ahead and not spend money in certain locations, or definitely really shouldn't spend money at all. If I am following correctly, my family and I actually participated this year. Not something that we ask for anybody to participate in, not something we're commanded by the Most High to do per se, but something that we did in solidarity. So if you joined in, I'm not one who's big on marching through the streets and doing a bunch of stuff, especially if Yah doesn't, or Ravak HaKodesh doesn't lead us to. That being said, it is important to show some kind of solidarity with our community, and prayerfully we're doing so. How you doing, babe? Once again, my wife is on the Honorable Mind. As always, check her out on TikTok, YouTube, website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. Shabbat Shalom to all. Love you, babe. Thanks for being on. Tonight, we want to take time out in all the stuff that's going on to also make it a point to say, well, if the black is out, if there's a blackout, black dollars out, things like that, well, where is the black in? Because starting tomorrow, March 1st, persons are going to literally put their dollars right back in the same places. Or maybe you went to the places you weren't allowed to shop today on the 27th, yesterday, and you decided to go and get stuff. We decided to go to the same places. But now that the black is out, how you doing, Sister Michelle? We must ask a sincere and honest question. Now that the black is out, where is the black in? You said that you only supported small black businesses today and before sundown. Praise y'all. See, because what I would like for us to see, how you doing, Richard? What I would like for us to see is if we're talking about the blackout, and we're talking about for our culture, for our, specifically for our nation building, which is something a lot of persons aren't there for. We're talking about building a nation. And a lot of persons are trying to change a nation and say that we're going to get this nation to flip in something that's based on the non-elevation of those who should actually be into insurrection. Many of us have decided to partake in this. In other words, many of us are okay with being parts of a movement here, movement there, as long as it doesn't cause us to actually have to change lifestyles, to change the way that we live, the way that we move, to change the way that we support one another, and to be specific in our everyday activity. One day is all right. It's easy to go ahead and just be like, okay, well, let's do a so-called blackout. But where is the black in? It'll be midnight soon. Not just your dollars. Where's the black in? How you doing, Speakly Fee? I still don't know. Speak Life. I've been saying Speakly Fee, Speak Life. My bad. I see it now. I understand it now. How you doing, Double OG, Triple OG? See, the black is out, but where's the black in? How you doing, Brother Aaron? What is it that we're going to make sure that we focus in as a community? How you doing, Sister Cher? And as a nation? See, reformation is going to be just as important as reparation, and reparation is going to be coming from in-house, because those who are against us are not for redistributing what belonged to you in the first place. How you doing, Minister Stephen? Shalom to you. Shabbat shalom to all once again on TikTok and YouTube for this evening. Thank you for being on with us. It's a very important question that we should ask. Yes, sowing into each other, sowing into kingdom, sowing into righteousness, sowing into right lawful standing that says that we shouldn't even be worried about a blackout, because where we put our dollars and where we put our effort and our prayers and our concerns and our teachings, they go into something for us. See, what we're doing, if we're not careful, what happens with things like tonight is we make the assumption that because we have separated for a day, that it's okay to be segregated for 364 more days. Facebook page, you can just go on Facebook, look up hashtag Find Kofi. You should be able to find plenty of stuff on there to help you to find it out. If you don't find it, feel free to go ahead and hit us up through Linktr.ee or reach out to somebody who's part of SOCs. You'll probably run into somebody on Facebook who can give you a link and stuff like that to be able to be part of it. Right? But it needs to be more than one day. It should be your whole life. It should be our whole life, right? I'm not just talking about color only. I'm talking about culture. Yes, color important. Black hair important. Yes, coarse or so-called nappy or whatever. Yes, your frame, being okay with being thick and having thick lips, and really even we call them thick lips, having lips. The fact that we have to say be proud of your thick lips shows how much damage has been done to where your lips, the way that they are, the way that they are. The way that your nose is the way that it is. The way that your hair is the way that it is. It's natural. It's within your nature. It's within the nature that you've been created. And there's so much black is out on a normal basis that all of a sudden you get a month and you get the last day of the month and you say, okay, we're going to take our money out. And the reality is that you're going to put yourself right back into the same thing tomorrow if you're not careful. How you doing, House of Shalom? How you doing? Yeah, natural and original, right? What is the origin of when you began to bleach yourself? See, it's one thing when somebody takes your culture, right? When they take that piece of paper that says culture for us, and it says black and black ink and black Sharpie, whatever, and it says culture, right? And they begin to white it out. But it's another thing where we might not have access to the whiteout, but we've been putting our own culture and our own blackness, so to speak, in bleach for so long that now the bleached version of you, even if it's not whited out completely, is better than the original form. How you doing, Sister Tia? So you say every day is our history. Yeah, every day is not even history, our story, right? Because his story is different than our story. I'm with you, Sister Monica. How you doing, Pastor Houston? So you have to ask yourself, and all these things that are going on, right? If black is out, then what is black in? If there's a day, see, everybody's so focused on taking out, but when it's time to put it back in, where is it going? This is why you're commanded to sow into your nation. Right? This is why you're commanded to love one another. By this will men know that you are disciples. Why? By the way that you love one another. You're not taking your love out of anywhere. You're leaving your love where it belongs. And if somebody wants to do business or wants to be grafted in, they can deal with us in love. But it doesn't mean that we have to black out something, right? Just to make ourselves feel comfortable. We done blacked out so much that it's not in. You know, we're not thinking about what's in, because the real thing is that there's a blackout where we're saying we're not going to put our money in this stuff today. But the reality is that black is going to come last, or black is going to be out for the next 364 days. Real talk. So you gotta get into a place of realizing and recognizing that don't get stuck on the fact that you took some money out of something today when you're supposed to make sure that you're putting it into something every day. How many phone calls are we going to make to each other tomorrow? How many times are we going to share or duet something, even on something as simple as social media? Not just today, but tomorrow. And the day after that, and the day after that. You know, every day you've been blacked out. And some of us are just coming out, we 50 years of living blacked out and believing that it's the norm. So if it's been 50 years of you believing it's the norm, now year 51, you got to realize that you got some blacking in to do. There's some ink that needs to be put on the paper that hasn't been. There's some gaps on that paper. Salah. Our story has been blacked out so much that the mere mention of your story tells persons that you're racist. You know, earlier it was today, right? Earlier today, we were simply talking about making sure that we take care of our family. Not meaning that we have to be against anybody else's family, but that we take care of our family. And persons literally made sure, and TikTok, of course, always obliges to ensure that they limit who can go ahead and even see that we're on. How you doing, Bruder Charlie? Persons are literally upset and frustrated by the fact that we would say that we need to ensure that we are committed to us. Committed to Yah, committed to each other. And if somebody says that that's wrong, no, there's nothing wrong with a Finnish person taking care of a Finnish person. There's nothing wrong with a Swiss person taking care of a Swiss person. There's nothing wrong with a Cherokee taking care of a Cherokee. There's nothing wrong with a mother taking care of her children. Matter of fact, if a mother can take care of other person's children, this happens, by the way, in abusive households, where a mother will make sure that other children eat, and then they'll do a wellness check and their children don't eat but once a week. Something's wrong with that. That's abuse. That's abnormal usage of your position, etc. How you doing, daughter of Yasra? Right? There's something wrong with that, to where we become so comfortable and we're happy because we're going to have a day. And I'm not saying this is everybody. If the shoe fits where, if it doesn't, take it off. Let it be a reminder. Let it be another way you can think about it. Let it be another way that you can tell it to somebody else. But we have become really great at blacking out and saying, cool, we got this month. Cool, we have this day. Cool. You know, and by the way, we even allow, and I'm not even saying others can't be, but hear what I'm saying. We're proud because others are part of the cookout. Everybody else is blacking out too. But once again, when we need you to be John Brown tomorrow, where are you at? When we need you to be Tim Wise tomorrow, where are you at? When we need you to be Jane Elliott tomorrow, where are you at? And all those persons I mentioned weren't off, but they are ostracized. But they were ostracized because they're willing to say, hey, there's something wrong with being on the side of evil. And it's a wicked place that gets us to a place where we have to say we need to black out because we don't black in. That's right. When our nation is a standard, by the way, nation building is a standard. So why is it when we say that we want to be nationalists, all of a sudden we're the wrong ones? Right? This goes back. I've been listening and watching some stuff today with Minister Malcolm X, with Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and I was watching some of the OGs of, news, which is supposed to be an unbiased place. Of course, we know it's not. All these persons are paid off. But I was watching persons like Mike Wallace, speaking on the Nation of Islam and saying how the Nation of Islam speaks racist rhetoric and all they do is put racism in newspapers and stuff like that. Meanwhile, he said, if a white nationalist, if the KKK, and it's supposed to be one of y'all leftist northern persons who's supposed to be somebody that we hold in high regard, he said, but if the KKK were to say the same thing that they get to say, which they don't say the same thing, but if they were saying the same thing or do the same thing, then they would surely, right, have the FBI looking into them, as if NOI didn't have FBI, CIA till this day. As if Black Hebrew Israelites, when you mention it, as soon as I mention that, they're automatically looking up anything having to do with Kofi 40, SOC, any of that, anybody who's on here, simply because I mention something that is against their faith and their religiosity, which is to black us out. How you doing, Oasis Farmer? Shalom to you. Shabbat shalom to everybody coming in. How you doing, Brother TJ? So we got to ask ourselves a question. It's not so much about blackout today. It's about how much black is in. It's not so much about we did something in solidarity today. It's about being in solidarity today and the day after and the day after. How much will you seek to get what you need from each other? Not just today. Not just tonight. Right? What we're taught is to be excited that we got a day. We're taught to fight for a month. Right? We're taught to fight for a channel. Even with stuff as far as the boycott and all this stuff, there's famous persons. You can go ahead and look them up for yourself. You probably already know who they are, who are out here saying, see, don't do a boycott. Don't start boycotting Walmart. Don't boycott the places of Target. You know how many black businesses you're going to affect because you do this stuff in Walmart? Why did you have to go to Walmart? Just let us get it from you. This is like the same thing as the music thing that goes on, where it's like, oh, thank you, Sister Monica, I see you. Where it's like, I really appreciate that. Thank you. I'm just on a roll in my head. This is like the same thing where it's like somebody gets a music contract and you think the only way to get your music out is to do it through a UMG. Right, to do it through Universal Music or to do it through, whatever music that leads to, is Death Row on Universal? I don't even know, probably. I don't keep up enough anymore to know who's with who. But you get what I'm saying. There's really only like 4 distributors. Everybody else is under them. And you think that you can't get your music out there, but the reason is because, to be honest, we can't trust each other. This is one of the things that's a mystery, but now that I've seen it work, because I used to be like, how am I going to get persons to be able to find out where we are? And they've stopped us. They've had to have us restart. They tried to stop our TikTok stuff. They tried to stop Facebook and YouTube and stuff multiple times, and even mess with signals and stuff every day. And yet here we are, still on point. Like here we are, still here. Right, still doing what we're supposed to, and gathering steam as a nation, and making sure that we're there for each other, and loving on each other, and honoring each other, and going through whatever it takes to help us to be able to get to the next level with each other. Right? That's when black is in all the time. And our goal is to get there all the time. Now, once again, somebody will hear me saying black in, blackout, and they'll start to say, here's the reverse racism, yada, yada, yada. But here's the problem. Just because black is a standard doesn't mean it's the so-called white standard. I know I'm using social constructs and colonial constructs, but just roll with me. Because don't forget, there's a place called Haiti. In Haiti, they said that black was king. However, if you were a Polish person fighting for blacks, if you were a German Hessian fighting for Haiti, and you were able to help us to win, and you fought for righteousness, you were called black. Does that mean that we wanted to take your life? No. It means that the standard was help everyone to be treated righteously. See, so even when we use the term black, persons try to use it as a thing because in Western society, black is supposed to be bad. And so if you say black should be a standard, even for black persons, what you're saying is white persons must be down because that's the standard they come from. Whenever anybody uses that argument, I need you to see this. Whenever anybody uses this argument, I don't care what they look like, I don't care how many years, I don't care if they're an elder, I don't care. Truth is truth. We're not going to give half truths and dilute the truth with whole lies. We're not going to give half truths and speak whole lies. We're going to give truth, right? Anybody you hear using an argument saying that, well, so what are you trying to say? Black people are on top and white people on the bottom? No, the fact that we say that we should be treated as human beings and have the same rights that anybody else has to protect themselves, the same rights that you give to those persons waving the Confederate jack, or what some of you still call the Confederate flag, the right that they have to wave that flag as traitors to your people, right? To your people, they're traitors. To my people, they've done less to my people than they have under the United States flag, or under the UK flag, or under the Spanish flag. The list goes on. They've done less because they weren't around as long. You know that, right? Like, United States of America, supposedly, if we just do the Declaration of Independence, supposedly, if we're not going to act like persons weren't here before then, supposedly, 1776, do the math, 1876, 1976. Now let's start thinking about decades. So that's 200 now, decades. 86, 96, 2006, 2016, right? It's 2025. So we're almost at 250 years, right? Next year is 250 years. 250 years, and only 4 of those years, by the way, the Union never faded away. It just was a confederacy. So for 250 years, there's been a United States, and then for 4 of those 250, in almost 250 years, right? Somebody do the math for me. 4 divided by 250, or if you want to be more technical, 4 divided by 249. I can't use my phone right now for the calculator. Can somebody do that for me? Go on your calculator, divide 4 by either 249 or 4 by 250, because that'll be just next year, right? And they're going to do a celebration saying they've been here for 250 years. How you doing, Sister Kimberly? And I want you to see what that percentage is. Because 4 out of 100 is 4%. 4 out of 200 is 2%. That means that we're less than 2%. No, not 250 divided by 4. 4 divided by 250. Oh, that's the percentage. Okay, sorry. 62 point whatever. Okay. So 62.5% or so. No, that's not right. It's got to be 4 divided by 250. That's not right. It's got to be 0.02 something. Right? It's got to be 4 divided by 250. It's got to be like 0.02 something. Or less than 0.02. Sorry. Yeah, there we go. 0.016. So 1.6%. 1.6% of American history is dealing with the Confederacy. Way more has happened to us under that. Way more black has been out under that. 1.6%. There we go. 1.6%. That's crazy numbers right there. 1.6%. But we're sitting up here acting, you see what I'm saying? And they want us to be we're so, I don't even want to use the term, but it is what it is. I'm not trying to be mean towards anybody. I'm just being honest. We're so thirsty for anything, that we don't realize that what if you did this every day, right? I'm not trying to speak negative, sisters. Hear my words. What if for 1 year you guys said, unless it's a black protective hairstyle, right? Something for black protective hairstyle, right? Unless it's made by one of your persons. You know that you would take away something like $2 to $3 billion away from the hair industry that's going to somebody else, not just so-called white persons, but even Korean persons and others. But if you said you're not going to get your nails done, your spa treatments will only be done at persons that are black, you know that you're dealing with an industry that's 4 billion you're putting into. What if you said you're only supporting music that comes from you guys? You change everything overnight. That's the power that's already in us. Remember, now unto him who's able to do exceeding abundantly above all we could ever ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. And we keep looking like for power to come from somewhere else, and somebody had to support the power. You have the power. The problem is that you don't believe that you have it, or you don't realize that you have it. There is nobody who has power over you. You have to give up the power that Yah has put inside you. Right? We're kingmakers. You know, in chess, king me, or even in checkers, king me, or even in chess, you go ahead and you get a pawn to the end, and you can get another piece back. You can uplift. You can do. We are kingmakers. No matter the fact that you only at the most 13 to 15% of the population of the United States of America, and it's way more than that because most persons don't want to identify as themselves. But even if you only be in 13 to 15% of the population, guess what? They still looking for your vote every year because they know whichever way you swing, that's where everybody's going. They don't care if they get you up there and you twerking like Meg Thee Stallion. They don't care if you go up there talking about some burr like like Cardi B. They don't care if you can barely read what's going on. They'll get you up there like forgive me, I don't know the Bad and Bougie cats who made that song, whatever, you know. They're just not at the top of my head. I see their faces, you know, but forgive me, I can't remember which one or what the name of it is right now. The group is, you know, whether they get Snoop to go ahead and perform for you later on at a rally that's not technically a Trump rally, but is really doing whatever. They'll use on the Republican or Democrat side, whether they having many men playing after Trump is shot at, allegedly. Migos, thank you. That's the group I was looking for. And it was only one of them, by the way, right? Well, one of them is not with us any longer anyways, but it was one of the two that are still alive. You know, but nobody want to be honest. Nobody wants to have that talk. How you do movement music where you have the power already. And this is what we're really trying to get across is why are we wearing any brand but us? It's because we don't think it's important to be a nation. We think it's important to black out on a day, and then we'll black out to say, hey, let me get a piece of that pie. It's kind of like the whole thing that's been happening with the hashtag, you know, I regret voting for Trump or whatever that is that's out now. Everybody and their mama. And I'm not a Republican or Democrat, but I'm just saying, showing you the fallacy, right? Everybody was quick to be like, Trump's going to change, he's going to change it, he's going to change it. So all of the persons who are us, but are too Spanish, too European, Spain-ish, Spanish to be us. All of a sudden, everybody and their mama had to say, we're going to go ahead and get rid of them. But guess what? You ain't from here either. By the way, we're more from here than you, but really technically we're the same persons, but you don't want to acknowledge us and you, so you say, you need to be part of something else. And by the way, I don't care how many, I'm mixed, I'm this, I'm that. Those things are made up social constructs as well. When somebody says that you're white, that's a social construct. If somebody says you're mixed, then that's a social construct. That's not real either. So when you sit up there talking about you mixed, you don't realize that you got to be part of a nation regardless. I'm just here to tell you, you got to make a decision. That's why they get on John Brown the way that they do. Because John Brown made a decision. In their eyes, that man ain't white. Even the union don't uplift him. You know what I'm saying? He chose. He said, this is where I am. This is righteousness. This is the nation. And he even said, he spoke against the nation that he fought against. That's right. And we should move like we know we're protected. So in all this stuff as far as blackout, you got to start asking yourself, what is the black in? Was right? Because your blackout means your black dollars are in something. So what they're gonna be in tomorrow, they're gonna go right. See, let's reverse this thing, right? Because we're used to taking the black dollars, the black education, the black community, and making sure that we leave and take it out. So when you did a blackout and said, I'm not giving anybody our stuff for a day, what you said for a day is everything is in, black in. So now when you get ready to give it back out, what you giving it out to? Or is it gonna stay in? Right? Is it gonna stay in or is it gonna stay out? What you finna do with it tomorrow? See, this is the day that Yahweh has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Cool. Remember, day in our culture is Yom. It's a period of time. Is this the day that you'll be the day that for the rest of your life? Is this the first day of the rest of your life, or are you just having a hiatus? Is this a Sabbath of sorts for you? You just gonna rest from giving to them, but you'll be right back giving tomorrow. Don't worry, boss. I'm gonna be right there giving back tomorrow. Don't worry, I'll be right there buying food that's not really food tomorrow. Don't worry, I'll make sure I go to your stores where you have to pay 3, 4 times as much as what a carrot is worth, but at least I can get 1 carrot for the price of 15 of them, and really I could probably just grow carrots myself, but I'll be right back. You have the power within you to not just make change for a day. Don't get and I hope this isn't a downer. I'm not trying to be what's the term, a Debbie Downer or whatever. I hope I'm not. My goal is not to be a downer or to come across as a downer. Be proud of what we did. For many of us, this is the first time that we've even made a commitment like this. I'm just asking you, can it be something that you make an everyday process? Just like righteousness isn't just supposed to be done for one day or for a crowd. It should be done because it's an everyday process. Being separate of a system isn't something that I'm trying to just do today. I'm trying to be separate every day. Come on, Sister Carla. Amen. How peculiar do you want to be? We talked about it earlier this rising. How you doing, Chantel? How peculiar do you want to be? A peculiar group got on the ark. The ark is not for everybody. You know, the door is open to anybody who wants to come aboard there. But the ark is not for everybody. It's for those that believe they should at least take steps up the ramp. If it had a ramp, we don't know. But you get what I'm saying. Right? How peculiar do you want to be? How black in do you want to be? How black out do you want them to keep you? Right? Because we're doing a blackout doesn't mean they're not going to reverse it and say, okay, tomorrow black's out. Black History Day is up. And once again, this is something that's meant to be a shock to the system. So I want you to realize, but this is kind of like the same thing as us marching and saying Black Lives Matter. We know Black Lives Matter, but that doesn't mean that they're going to give you your Stop Black Hate bill. They gave you a Stop Asian Hate bill, and you fought for it with Black Lives Matter because you knew it was important to fight for righteousness. Problem is you still don't think it's important to fight for your own. And like I said, the person got to be careful. This year, the gloves coming off. I told you this year is going to be one where we're going to speak it heavy. We're going to walk heavy. And I'm going to have to be more disciplined and things. They're going to have to come together. And I'm going to have to hold persons accountable. They're going to have to hold me accountable too. And I told, we even talked about it today. If you want, I forget who I was talking to when I said it initially. But be careful. You asked me to put the fist up. The fist ain't supposed to come down. And then look, real talk, it should have never came down in the first place, even when we came. And it really hasn't. But now, yeah, we got to get bolder with this. The bolder the world gets, the bolder we got to do. Chest swell up your chest. Speak with righteousness and dignity. Wear your crown and carry the tithe. Speak like you mean it. That's right. Say it with your whole chest. Right? They're going to learn today. You'll say it with your whole chest. Be ready. Right? Be ready. This thing is not, look. A lot of persons are proud. And once again, I'm not saying I'm proud. Baby steps, sincere milk. You're in the womb, even some of you. Before you're born again, you got to go through a gestational period, right? Things, you got to go through a process of learning how to walk. You got to get to a place where your teeth come in, and then the teeth come in that can even eat steak. I get it. I get it, right? It's a process. How you doing, springtime? This is a process. Be proud of where we are in the process, but don't forget that just because we started a process doesn't mean that your goal is not just to eat, you know, rice in your milk in the bottle. As at some point, the goal is for you to be able to walk and move mountains, right? Baby steps are mandatory. Crawling is mandatory. But at some point, it's time for you to be able to run. It's time for you to go to the playground. It's time for you to be able to fall and somebody not be concerned when you fall until you get right back up. There's work to be done. And so I'm not, once again, I'm not trying to be the person who's, you know, I hate to use the term, but, you know, like urinating on the parade or something along that. I'm not trying to do that. What I'm trying to tell you is that don't keep letting somebody urinate on you and tell you it's raining. You know, don't let somebody urinate on you and keep telling you it's raining. You got a reprieve from rain one day and somebody's up there zipping up their pants and you're not paying attention to the zip sound. But somebody been urinating on us and then telling us it's rain. Telling us, well, you could just be out here and it just be dry. No, let me make sure it's rain. You know, let me make sure what's going. And if we're not careful, we're going to say, hey, I got a day. We had one day. We did it. And I'm not trying to be, once again, a downer, but let's be honest. We've done the marching. We've done the singing. I believe, and we shall overcome one day. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome one day. I do believe. Right? However, we've seen, and I mean, it's been emotional. We've seen little 3-4-year-old girls out marching talking about Black Lives Matter. We knew they mattered before then, but still, right? We spent a year and a half doing more about injustice than we ever had. My question to you is, where are you now? And this is when the enemy has a right to ask you some questions and to swell up on you some, because we were talking a big game. Black Lives Matter ain't going nowhere. You don't understand, blah, blah. When's the last time you seen persons making videos about Black Lives Matter? Amen, babe, I see you. I know you are, right? I'm just saying, that's why I said a long time ago, I'll admit to anybody, Black Lives Matter, but I'm not going to be part of an organization that I know is not for us and never has been. And the person that said that they were going to keep rocking with us, where they at now? They were constituents. They got what they needed. They were for what we were for. And so they dipped out. They were comrades even. They were against what we were against. They got what they needed. Their enemy, as far as what they needed, was vanquished. Stop Asian hate. Okay, put peace. Where y'all at now? Now I see stuff in there. Hey, make sure that you're helping those in China. And I'm not saying we shouldn't do any help, but I see more videos now about, can you help those persons in China who are under this thing and their part of the beast is falling apart? Meanwhile, here you are, and in your neighborhood, people can't eat. I mean, look, we tried it. You tried it. You voted, right? Yes, we can. Never were told what you could. You still ain't get no legislation. Okay. 8 years. Yes, we can. Don't know what you did. Seem to have lost momentum, so much so that Trump was voted in. All he did was say, make America great again. He brought what Reagan ran on and brought it back. Okay, do you believe that was going to work? All right, he was going to drain the swamp and all that, but where we at? He was going to get rid of racism and everything overnight. Okay, cool. No problem. You put Biden in there, and then you was going to try and put, forgive me, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just really don't remember Kamala. Try to put her in there or whatever. And what that gets you? Now Trump back in. And he's signing paperwork as soon as he gets in there to tell y'all that all of y'all who thought he was going to start working for you, he coming right at you and getting you out of there anyways. Thank you for the love, by the way. So question, like, what did it get you? And I'm going to say something that might disturb you. It's okay. You can be disturbed. You've been praying and thinking that praying by itself was going to change you. Because prayer does change things, right? But faith without works is nothing. You believing that you know how to fight, but never putting your dukes up and getting hit upside your head. That's not even what turn the other cheek means. Turn the other cheek was a contextual thing to where in those days, if somebody slapped you on one side up with their hand, you were supposed to turn your cheek to say, hey, we still gonna have to squabble up, but I'm not gonna be disrespected. One way of slapping you was more disrespectful than the other. It was never that you were supposed to just get slapped and then just say, I'm strong enough to take it or whatever. It was never for you to be, I was about to use the wrong P word, Bruder, pray for me. It was never for you to be a punk. I was about to say the wrong P word, Bruder, the 2-syllable joint. Right? Forgive me. Something just rose up in me. That's the flesh. Right? But I'm just saying, there used to be a P word we had for cats that you just keep getting slapped out here and you keep letting your family get beat up and your woman get beat up and yourself get beat up and them taking your funds and everything. We used to have a word for you back in the day. I can't say it now. It's not even a bad word, but I know I can't represent y'all and say that word. So I'm going to keep that word tucked in. Right? But it used to be a word that we had for y'all cats. Right? Now you call it OVO. As Kendrick said, the other vaginal option. Right? But we used to have a word that started with a P back in the day, 2 syllables. And we would call you out if you was just going to let your people suffer like that. And it sounds bad because persons want you to believe that what is already in effect is wrong, but it's not true. Like, once again, English persons take care of English persons as far as who they consider to be English, but you get what I'm saying, right? English persons take care of English persons, right? That's the way it's supposed to be. Finnish persons take care of Finnish persons. Canadians take care of Canadians. You are a nation. See, one of the problems, once again, we don't really believe the word. You are a nation, a holy nation. What is a nation? A nation is not just a group of persons that hang out on the weekend or hang out for a live session. They are a nation, right? Blood nation. They are a nation, have the same laws. They are a nation's principles, statutes, commandments. Yeah, it's okay to say, like, and by the way, separated nations do business with nations. They'll do business with each other first. That's how you make strong nations. But yeah, there is a such thing as exporting and importing. You can import, you can do business from time to time, but your nation takes care of your nation. Right? There's a bunch of children walking up the road. Praise God. Right? But you see what I'm saying? Nation, and the Bible even tells you, nation shall rise up against nation. They war, they go against stuff. You got to be ready. You're at war, and you're at war with the spirit. And unfortunately, what you don't know, what the world ultimately doesn't know, because they're being they're being puppets right now. They're being used and don't even realize somebody's got their hand up to you know what, right? Controlling them from the inside out. Right? The hand even ends up being in the place where the heart would be. Somebody's puppeting over in control, possessing the whole body of their believers, right? But the reality is like a lot of persons, they don't realize and recognize that they are being controlled and their general is Chasatan. That's who the fight is against. So if there's a blackout, question, where's the black in? Now we know it's not even as simple as that. Because where's the Negro out? And where's the Negro in? Does the Negro belong in the beast? These are just questions, by the way. Now read your Bible, it'll bless you, but also don't just read your Bible, live by it, believe in it, honor it. The Negro, does the Negro belong in the beast? Or does the Negro belong out of the beast? And if the Negro doesn't belong in the beast, does the Negro child belong in the beast? Or does the Negro child belong out of the beast? And when I'm using the term Negro, a lot of you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Israel. I'm talking about before they changed the definition of a Negro. I'm talking about 1834 Roget's Thesaurus that literally tells us that if you look up the term Negro, part of the words that you'll see in there that are synonymous with Negro, besides black, besides Moorish, besides Swarthy, you'll also see that it also means the children of the Most High, or as they would say, the children of God, meaning that your oppressor who enslaved you still believed you. They enslaved you because they believed shaped you to be the children of the Most High, that you had the power that kept it away from you. So how do you fit into this beast again? Right? Start making plans. You know, plan like plan like you have power. Also, plan like you should be prepared. Plan like Earth is not your home. Plan like getting a job to make $5 more an hour is not going to be the end all be all of your journey. Plan like give and it shall be given unto thee, Elohim's measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Plan like men shall give into your bosom, for with the same measure that you meet shall it be given unto you. Plan like, oh, how great and pleasant it is when brethren dwell together in unity, as like the oil, even the oil that starts at Aaron's head and runs down the beard, even down to the edge of the skirt. Plan like this earth and this world and this system is filled with contempt and fills you with contempt for yourself and thinks that you are nothing more than at the bottom. Plan so that you can say how great it is, right, when you were able to come into the gates of Jerusalem. Plan like you're supposed to be separate from the system, so and have something in place so that when those who are escaping out of that system, they have a bridge to escape. Don't just plan for a day, right, or 24 hours if you believe that's what a day is. That's the okie doke. Right, that's the okie doke. That's where they got us. That's where they got us. You planning like today is it. Plan like this is an eternal plan. Plan like until Earth is gone and a new Earth is here, we ain't supposed to be acting like this is our home. Plan like your child is going to watch you grow and watch your community grow and is going to have a better place to be in. Right? Plan, see when you start moving, see, some of you will begin to homeschool your children, right? You say, I can't. You'll start to plan stuff around your child's success. Right now, you think you have to get your child to have success while being enslaved to a system that's not for your child. When you realize your child's success comes first, you'll start saying, I'd rather not be a slave to that. I'd rather be a servant of the Most High and make sure that my child gets where they're supposed to be. You'll see stuff change real quick. And persons be thinking I'm making this up or I'm making it too mystifying or mystical or whatever. I promise you that's on point, beloved. That is as on point as it gets. Real talk. That is as on point as it gets. Like, plan for your community to grow and watch it grow. Like, live as if it's going to happen. Faith and then work what you believe in, right? And the reality is we believe in a day, 24 hours. We don't believe in every day. And look, if the shoe fits squared, if it doesn't, take it off. I'm talking about us as a nation, and even the nation that ain't in the nation yet, even the ones that are what? The remnant, they need to come on over. We're making plans for them too. We're planning as if they're coming. We're planning as if they're coming. We're planning as if a person's eyes are being opened up and they're realizing, recognizing that there's more to a system than being enslaved or being an indentured servant for the rest of your life. You know what? You know one of the best things that social media has taught me personally? I'm almost finished. I know I've been rambling on for a bit. I just want to stick this landing real quick. One of the things that social media has taught me is I don't have to have, because I've been there, done that. I've had the videos that reach 1 million persons. I have different things that are on social media that I didn't even know existed. You know, if you put anything on TikTok, for example, if you're on TikTok, anything you put on TikTok, there's actually other groups that buy everything from TikTok and post your stuff and post it as you, and they make money off of the stuff, so you don't get to see the money, but you're making money for other places. That's how TikTok makes some of their money and stuff too, which is why the United States is trying to get TikTok to sell it, stuff like that, because it's a big, huge thing, right? But I say all that to say, I learned that I might only think that 2,000 persons, because we used to get 40-something thousand each live. We've gone down to there where there might be 2,000, and that's a great day. And it is. It's a great day when we have our regular 1,000 and something. If we hit 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, woo. And by the way, I don't take that lightly. I mean that, woo, like we doing something nowadays. But even in that, I've realized that we do more for the environment and persons still watch it, even if we don't see the numbers. And I've realized if 30 persons are on a live session, we changing hearts and minds all over the world. Don't get down on what somebody presents to you as a number. If you have to remember, once again, the same person who lied to you about the fact that you came from royalty and descended from a royal bloodline that's connected to the Most High. Same person that don't want to talk to you about that. You can't believe that they are the ones that are going to be the ones who are telling you where your community is. Right? We change lives one mind at a time around the world. You guys, if you haven't noticed, I've had to start giving other places around the world, when we have meetings, I have to tell persons, oh yeah, when we meet here, when we meet there, when we meet this time, when we meet London time, those of you who are in Australia, if you want to come over, this and that, you're reaching persons all over the planet. Right? Don't get stuck on it says 50 or it says 10. Or we're not hitting 100,000 likes like we used to all the time, or whatever. We only getting maybe the 40-something thousand, 50,000. If we hit 60,000 or 75,000, like I'm excited about all of it. Hear what I'm saying? We are doing y'all's work. Yeah, there's even those who watch and don't tap into those who, yeah, exactly. So there's many different things, but I'm just saying, don't get distraught. It's progress. It's always progress. Don't get distraught. Believe it or not, you guys have SOC in a position to where you still take care of bills, where persons are still getting phones that don't have phones, where persons are still getting, the ability to be able to take rest, where we're able to help persons with their health, where businesses are taking off that weren't taking off before. Like, don't get it twisted. We still moving and rolling in what y'all has for us, and we're doing an excellent and righteous work in it. Right? Amen. Keep going. Keep going and watch this. I'll say this, and all the stuff that we're talking about, right? Whether I'm talking about Mavis cookies, I'm talking about Jermaine's clothing line, I'm talking about Deja's food product, whatever your thing might be. I want you to understand this and realize this: we haven't even got started yet. Okay, Holy Spirit, have your way. This ain't a meeting per se, but this is just exhortation, if you will. Let me encourage you, if I might. We haven't even got started yet. Like, hear me, beloved. We're not even as a community, some of which is because we're still waiting on assignments and stuff. But as a community, we're not even doing everything we're supposed to. If the shoe fits, wear it. If it doesn't, take it off. But Holy Spirit ain't wrong. We're not even at a point to where everybody's locked in yet like they supposed to be. Where everybody's giving time, talent, effort, energy, and yes, sometimes even resource. We ain't even close yet. We're not even close to making sure that we're meeting up as much as we're supposed to meet up, that we're seeing everybody, that we're physically seeing everybody, that we're checking on each other, that some of us that are right down the street, next door to each other, so to speak, relatively speaking, right? But within 20 minutes of each other, some of us within 30 minutes of each other, there's like 10 families. Like, we're not even close. We're still growing, by the way. There's a marriage going on tomorrow. We're excited. Continue to pray on Shabbat Shalom. Even pray for Brother Yosef and Sister Brenda, not to be considered with Minister Yosef and Minister Elisha, who are actually marrying them. But Brother Yosef and Sister Brenda, right, coming together and becoming officially. We're growing. Marriage is happening throughout the year. We're growing. But hear what I'm saying. We're not even close to everybody being all the way locked in yet. Could you imagine? I keep telling persons, with the 200 families or so that are regular, whether they on every day, once a week, once a month, whatever, but the 200 families that are regularly trying to be part of SOC, if we had even just 200 persons were locked in, it's game over. It's game over. And I'm just trying to tell you, You are that powerful. We don't recognize the power that we have. You are that powerful. It's that close. It's that close. The infrastructure is there. Right? You see it that we're doing Passover, and we actually doing Passover in a place where there's a little bit of travel. Person's going to show up. And it's going to be more than what it was. Well, it has the ability to end up being more persons than showed up the last time, and the Passover before that, and the Passover before that. And we're going to be doing it on Zoom too, which means that we might have more numbers. Right? Imagine this, you all. Imagine Memorial Day, somewhere between 50 to 100 of us showing up on a national mall, putting some blankets out on the ground, making sure that we are excited about the word and just speaking word. Imagine us going to the Bible Museum 50 to 100 deep. Imagine Feast of Tabernacles, where I'm expecting 50 to 60 to show up at its peak. But what if 100 persons to 150 persons show up just for 1 or 2 of the days? That's possible this year. Even if you ain't there the whole time, imagine if you were there to give y'all glory. Imagine the baptism then. You hear what I'm saying? Like, we're not even close to just doing things at full capacity. Imagine when the land is together, because I keep telling y'all that's going to be a slower process. And don't think that just because it's been gotten that we still not dedicated to it, or don't think just because we even have access to other land too that it's over. It ain't just about having the land; it's about developing. Imagine when we say, "Hey," and I'm praying this year. We're a little bit behind because we couldn't really do it last year. But imagine it being like, "Yo, okay, food." It's not only being given out for free, but it's being sold, and we're in the black. And imagine, hey, there's plumbing this year. And imagine, hey, come on and bring your tents and stuff like that. You know, and imagine, wait a minute, somebody can start living there. And imagine, now we got something to pass down to our children. And everybody who's coming in here is sovereign. You know, imagine all these different things that we have, right? This is the works. We have the things in place, but I'm just telling you, that's what I'm saying. It's a blackout today, but when is black in? When is black in? When is black in? When is Negro in? When is Israel in? When is the kingdom in? It needs to be every day. Every day. It needs to be every day. Amen. Now, choose ye this yom, this period of time, who you will serve. Not serve for the yom, by the way. Choose you today who you will serve. Not just for today, though. It doesn't say choose you to serve Yah today. That would be a different word. It says choose you today who you will serve. Serve how long? Eternally. Salah. Right? So don't get caught up on that. Choose who you will serve today. Right? Today's a blackout, but where's the black in? Prayerfully got something out of this message. Thank you for being on today. I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll probably be finished tomorrow's live about 9:30 to 9:40, somewhere in there. So, and I'm not sure if we'll be on all the platforms. We might just be on YouTube and TikTok, but we will be on tomorrow. And I'm going to try to make sure that we're starting no matter what, even signal-wise by 8. I'm going to try to get there early if I can, because I got to actually try to be doing something by about 9:30 or 9:40. So, Minister Stephen, we look forward to getting a mighty word from you and supporting you and what it is that God's doing. Thank you so much for being obedient in your calling. And we give our honor and praise to the Most High. We give our praise and honor to them for my wife, the Honorable Alma. Remember, scheduled tomorrow, 8 a.m. New York time, live session, 10 a.m. New York time. Shabbat Shalom on the podcast with Minister Stephen. 11 a.m. New York time, Shabbat Shalom service for the children. 7 p.m. London time. We'll talk to you, everybody over in England, and those who are going to be coming over with them. And 7 p.m. New York time, brothers, don't forget, we'll be coming out of the book, 5 Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman. And prayerfully, you got brothers will be ready to not only listen, but also willing to participate. So thank you again. Appreciate, love you all. Look for your Google, look for your Google Calendar invites and all of those things. And until I have the great opportunity of being in front of you again, remember as always, family, that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Shabbat shalom. Take care. We'll talk with you soon.